friend, how you doing? You good? I'm good too. It's your girl Dominique Locs, and today is hair day. Okay. Cause you could be conservative, but also be cute as hell, right?
Somebody tell me, can y'all do dinner? Target said don't play with her, okay? She said don't play. She got that stuff.
Next, we have this sweater dress that I absolutely love. It is so soft. It is so comfortable. Now, this is my favorite. We saw those green pants. I wanted to do a green monochrome look. So my birthday is coming up, so we need to do hair for birthday. Do a little chill hairstyle. This is the hairstyle that I'm thinking of. I'm gonna do it with a little twist though. So let's go ahead and get the hair washed and deep conditioned and all of the moisture goodness. Then we're gonna retwist and we're gonna style her up and be done. So right now I have been using Aunt Jackie's curls and coils collection. This collection my hair has been loving. I use the shampoo, I use this leave-in conditioner, and I also use a deep conditioner because my hair needs all the moisture it can get. As we know, when you color your hair, it dries your hair out, so you need to reinfuse moisture. So I've been doing my best to keep my locks as moisturized as possible so they can continue to grow. Let's go ahead and get her washed and then I'll come right back. All right, now my hair is completely washed. And once my hair is washed, I add as much moisture back into it as I can. I first deep condition it, rinse that out, and then I go in with my leave-in conditioner. I go in with my leave-in conditioner and my hair oil. And before I retwist my hair, I like for my hair to be as dry as possible so I can minimize product buildup and minimize mold or any bacteria forming in the hair, because locks are not like regular hair, as we know, and it's very easy for your locks to gather buildup if you're just slathering product on top of product on top of product on it. So let's go ahead and get started on that. I like to separate my hair into sections just because it makes it easier for me, and my process is very simple. Spray it with my Holy Grail Liquid Gold hair mist, add my leave-in conditioner, and finish by sealing in that moisture with my hair oil. And then I sit under the dryer for about 30 minutes or until my hair is completely dry before I do any type of styling. I also do this because I have really curly hair, and if I leave it wet, it's not going to hold any product. It's just going to curl up and the product is going to sit on top of the curls instead of molding the curls. So let's do that. By the time you see this video, I have already had a birthday. So my birthday was November 23rd and I turned 28. And turning 28 brought about some realizations for me as far as how life has been going and how I want my future to go. I realized that I've only been an adult for a very short amount of time. In America, when you turn 18, you're considered an adult. So by that math, I've only been an adult for 10 years. And that's pretty young. I know that some of us have a lot of pressure placed on us to have everything figured out and know what we're doing, know where we're going, and not make any mistakes. But the truth is, we don't put that same pressure on 10-year-old children, so that same pressure can't be applied to 10-year-old young adults. We are still figuring it out. We are still growing. We are still trying to understand boundaries and all of those things. Let's bring back exploration so that we can get to a life we actually love. Now let's finish this hair. I have been going back and forth trying to try new relocking, retwisting gels, and I decided to go back to my Old Faithful. So this is my Old Faithful. I've been using this since I started my locks. As you can see, it's just about gone. I need something with a strong hold. So they do have different strengths. This one is a regular hold, so it feels more like the consistency of edge control gel, just a little bit firmer, but it does not cause greasy buildup within the lock once it dries down. Another one that I have been using that you've seen me use before is the lock-in gel. I like the lock-in gel. For me, I don't like that white foamy kind of buildup that happens when you are retwisting. So we're gonna go back to the old faithful for now, and we're gonna go ahead and start our retwist. I do section my hair. That's just the easiest route for me. So I section my hair into 4 sections, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and then we get right into the retwist. The lock community has grown so much over the last couple of years, and it's been very beautiful to witness. Welcome all my new lock babes. Great to have you here. Now that you're here, let's go over the 3 rules of the lock community. Amen. Amen. Rule number 1. Keep it simple, okay? The less amount of products you have in your hair, the better. The less amount of ingredients in those products that you put in your hair, the better. That means it's time to start turning over those bottles and reading the ingredients. If you don't know what the ingredients mean, your good girl Google is going to be your best friend, okay? And she's free. The less amount of people you have in your head, the better. Word to the wise, okay? Everybody and just anybody isn't allowed in your head. Some people don't know what they're doing and they just want your money. Rule number 2, limit the amount of tension that you have in your hair, okay? Don't retwist too often or too tightly. As you can see, I am not retwisting my hair with a lot of product nor with a lot of tension. My rule of thumb is I retwist once a month, and that style lasts me 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. Then I take it down and let my hair breathe until it's time to retwist again. That's about 2 weeks. Rule number 3, and the best rule: let your hair do its thing. Don't compare to other people's journey. Your hair's going to do what it wants. Learn your hair and how it grows and do what's best for your situation, okay? All right, my hair has been all retwisted. And I always leave my baby hair out just because I don't want to fight it. We're trying to keep our edges, and for a lot of people with locks, including me, your edges can get thin if you pull too much, so we don't want that. Now let's get on to the style. We see we got my braid rack out again. We will be adding hair to the end of my braids, and you already know what hair I'm going to be using. The same Cuban Twist brand that I showed you on my last video. Still my favorite. I always try to add 1 extra pack every time I buy new hair just to make sure I have some stored up. So let's get right into the style. So for my cornrows, I'm only going to have 4 braids total. So that means 2 braids on each side of my head. I am also going to make my braids crisscross into this pretty X. I used to do this all the time when I first started braiding hair because it just added a little something to your braid styles. So what that basically means is each braid will be separated into 2 sections to make the X. I will get more into that later, so just keep watching. And because I am extra, I am also going to add 2 strand twists to the very front of my braids as accent pieces. 2 strand twists are some of the absolute easiest styles to add to your locks. So what I'm going to do here is take those 2 sections, lightly roll them to secure the retwist at the top, and then I am going to 2 strand twist down the braid. I am not going to do it all the way to the end of my hair. I'm going to find a stopping point, fold the braid up, and then wrap it down. So here I am twisting down about 3/4 of the way of my lock. Then I am going to find my stopping point, which will be like my nose or the top of my lip, fold the lock up, and wrap down. You're going to not stack on top of each other, but wrap down the length of your fold, and then take a rubber band to secure the ends. Now, this is a popular trend that people are doing to make their lock bobs. I will have a video coming up on that, so just keep watching. It'll be coming up soon, so make sure you have your notifications turned on so you don't miss that. Now I'm going to repeat this process on the other side. Just like on the other side, I found my stopping point. I am folding it up and wrapping down. Now I am eyeballing this, so it won't be exactly perfect, but that's okay. I'm not striving for perfection here. And once I get to the very end, I will be getting my rubber band, as you see, and I am only wrapping the rubber band about 2 or 3 times because I don't want it to create creases in the ends of my locks, because creases in the end of your locks can also lead to breakage. Your hair is very delicate, so you want to be very mindful of what you're doing. Now let's get into these cornrows. Now, if you did not know, there are 2 different types of braiding styles. There is underhand braiding, and then there's overhand braiding. When I am doing cornrows or scalp braids, I always do underhand braiding unless the style specifically calls for overhand. So if you want a tutorial on that, drop the open hand emojis in the comments and I will go ahead and make one for you. Now, when I am braiding with my locks, I am retwisting as I go. This helps make sure that the style is as neat as possible, and also make sure that your retwist lasts longer. I am rolling the locks and slowly adding them to the braid. This is me braiding in real time. To create this X, you're going to take the front section from your first braid and the back section from your back braid. So you have 4 braids. You're going to separate them into 2 sections. We're going to call it section 1 and section 4. Okay, so that's what you're grabbing right now. We are getting to the section where you cross over to the next braid, and what you're going to do is continue braiding as if you are still doing a cornrow, but you do not add more hair. You do about 3 to 4 stitches before you cross over, and then you start adding the hair. You can do more depending on how much hair you have or how little hair you have. It's totally up to you and your situation. But as you see, I am still retwisting as I go, adding hair to the braid and making my way down. Once you get to the end, you're going to plait the hair down about halfway and then add a claw clip, because we are not done, but we don't want our braid to unravel while we continue with the rest of our hair. Let's repeat the process with the second braid. So you are going to take section 2 from braid 2 and section 3 from braid 1. Okay, so you're going to retwist as you go, grabbing each lock to make sure that it goes inside of the braid. Don't forget to take your time with this, because you don't want to rush and pull your hair too tightly, creating too much tension, because that'll make you take the whole hairstyle down, girl, and we didn't do all of this work to take it down. So take your time and make sure you don't pull too tightly. Make sure you don't add too much tension to your braid, like I stated before. Just like in braid 1, you are going to plait the hair over. This time on this side of my hair, the braids were a little thicker, so I did about 6 stitches before I made it to the section 3 so that I can grab more locks to continue the cornrow down. Here is where you can see that crisscross taking shape, and you can also see how locks look more like stitch braids instead of traditional cornrows because of the pre-parted sections. And just like with our other 3 braids, we're going to plait this braid down to about halfway and clip it with a claw clip so that we can move on to the next step and not unravel all of our hard work. Instead of just having normal cornrow braids down to the end, I'm actually going to make 2 ponytails. So I'm taking a black hair tie and wrapping it around 2 braids on each side to create a ponytail. I'm also making sure that this ponytail is not too tight on the nape of my neck. I'm not using a rubber band because a rubber band is too thin and it causes hair breakage, and it also will get lost in my locks. Now, I don't want the hair tie to show, so I am taking 2 to 3 locks from the bottom of the ponytail and wrapping it around the hair tie to cover it. I also have my finger on the hair tie at the bottom so that I can tuck those locks under the ponytail through the hair tie to secure it. That's the secret to doing ponytails with locks. Tuck everything through the bottom. So you see me doing that here, tucking the locks through that hair tie at the very bottom of the ponytail. Let's add one more thing to this hairstyle. Didn't I tell y'all I'm extra and I like to do things extra fancy? So, as you can see, that wrapping of the locks around the hair tie just polished the look. We are going to add 2 braids to the end of our ponytail. This is where that extra braiding hair comes in. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to add the hairstyle and you just got a free hairstyle, child. No money spent. Hello? But if you do want to add hair, I am adding that braiding hair to the underside of this plait, just like we did with the jumbo knotless braids. I'm adding about 2 to 3 pieces of the braiding hair, making sure that each leg of my braid has at least 2 strands of the braiding hair to make it even. And I am going to tuck my locks as I go. I'm showing you this in real time so that you can see my process when I am braiding my own hair. Some people do it differently. Some people braid overhand, but like I stated, this is the best way for me to make sure that my locks are secure within this protective style. And sometimes you have to take the hair out and start over to make sure that your locks are completely covered, as you see me doing now. And I will be working my way down the braid, tucking as I go. As you're braiding down and you get past where your hair stops, you will notice that your braid may start to thin out or not be as full. You can either add more braiding hair or you can do a butterfly braid. And a butterfly braid is when you pull lightly at the edges of your braid to make sure that it's the same consistency all the way through. To do this, you will need to loosen up the way you plait and lightly pull from the edges. If you don't like it once you're done, just take it down and braid regular. Now for the finishing touches, here is my trick for tucking my locks inside the braid when they stick out. I am using a bead threader and a crochet hook. It looks like this. I use the bead threader for longer and thicker pieces that are sticking out. And you insert the tip of the bead threader in the back of your braid through the middle of the braid. And once you have it through, you are going to fold it on top of the loose lock so that the lock is in the center of that open hole. Once you have it secured through that open hole, all you have to do from that point is pull the bead threader back so that the lock goes inside and through the back of your braid. This time let's do it off to the side, still going through the back of the braid, and we're going to go right above where that lock is sticking out. Okay, and we're going to feed that lock through the center of the bead threader. Once we have it through, we're going to pull it through the back of the braid. And now that we have it through the back of the braid, we have a little piece sticking out, and this is where our crochet hook comes in. We're going to insert the hook through the middle of the front of the braid and make sure that the latch is free. We're going to tuck that lock into the hook and pull it through the front of the braid. And you can keep weaving until the lock is inside the braid. Now that my hair is all braided, I am going to use my water pitcher again to heat up my water, dip my ends, and we are done, friend. All right, and this is the final product. What do you think? This is my first time trying this hairstyle. I had some hiccups along the way just because I didn't think my locks would be this thick when it came to braiding them down, because I've never done that before. So we'll try something different next time. Maybe do smaller sections. I don't know. But thank you so much for joining me for hair day, and I will see y'all next week with a new episode. Bye.